Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grapperinos, the wrestling pizzeria where we serve you a slice of probably next week on Raw. I'm Bryon, and joining me in this endeavor is Mamma Mia, Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Yes, I'm back from Italy. I did go there for the show on location. Brian
Yeah,
paid for my tickets. Yes, thank you.
you got tickets at
Yes, I
Solo
did.
Sikoa Say.
Yes, I got tickets. I got tickets specifically to see Cody and Gunther have probably the most mid championship feud of all time. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, man, it's been I don't know. It was such a good card coming out, and it just kind of fell flat. Um,
Uh huh.
what were your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, I thought it was an average show. I think that probably the best match on the card, I guess, was Becky versus Soul. Maybe Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar was fine, I guess. Although we kind of knew where it was going, but yeah, man, like all these matches are kind of, I guess, predictable. And even when you kind of are aware of who the winners are after the matches are gone, you kind of know where it's going. Like, for example, Roman Reigns versus um, I'm lacking on his name. Jacob Fatu. There you go. Jacob Fatu, right? Jacob Fatu loses again to Roman Reigns. So he has no option but to join Roman Reigns' kind of thing. But, kind of more like a Sami Zayn or a Jey Uso, kind of an unwilling member. And you kind of know where this is going. He's going to turn his back on the Bloodline once again. Or, I don't know, Bloodline 2000, 2.0, whatever the hell you want to call it. And then they'll have a match later in the year, I guess. And then we'll probably play some sort of allegiance with Jacob Fatu. He either joins the Usos or LA Knight and his ragtag group of people who don't like the bloodline, I guess. I don't know, man. It's just so predictable and mid and so safe. There was only one title change this night, and I'm probably gonna assume that SummerSlam will have more, but man, this show feels so safe. Aside from giving Sol Ruka her title, I guess everything else is just like, nah, we're not gonna do anything risky here. It just feels so, yeah. And at the end, you just feel like something happened and you just don't remember. It's a show that you will not remember after it's over, and that sucks. So
Yes.
it's TLDR. It's like a Netflix show. So there you go. Anyway, I guess the only thing we can do now is now that you're back from Italy, or I guess you're still in the hotel room. I don't know where you are at
No,
the
I
moment.
flew back. I flew back on the Concorde, so I was here a couple hours later. Like,
Whoa!
yes,
Did you get
yeah,
a jet or something?
yeah. I got a supersonic jet back over here. Yeah,
Supersonic jet.
just so I can make
Wow.
this recording. Yes, you're welcome. Um,
Amazing.
So it's the start of the Night of Champions tournament, Brian,
Yeah.
and
By the way, it culminates in Night of Champions at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Mike. We're going back to Saudi, baby.
yes, we are going back to Saudi for our obligatory Blood Money Championship belts,
Yeah.
sponsored by uh, Go Riyadh, whatever the fuck their tourism board is, and the United States military industrial complex. My big question here, Brian, is why the
Yeah.
fuck is Liv Morgan in this tournament?
I mean,
Why? Why is
I
she here?
guess. Yeah. I don't know. I guess they ran out of people.
to me, it's like booking has nothing for you, so let's just throw you in this tournament. I mean, if you listen to the kayfabe explanation she gave on the post show, was basically nothing. She just said, "I want to do it because I want to prove that I am the best woman champion of all time."
Yeah.
You really couldn't have taken. Do we really have that many injuries to the women's Raw? Like, you couldn't even have maybe, done like a match on NXT maybe to like get one spot for a woman, or like give it to. That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna pitch this right now. So in the NBA, and I know I'm going really long with this right now, and we should start our cards. But in the NBA, the last two spots of the playoff bracket are determined by a play-in tournament. So the 7th and 8th seed play the 9th and 10th seed, and whoever wins the tournament gets the last two slots. You should do that with this. So you should host like 2 matches on NXT, make it like a battle royale or whatever, and then that person gets the last slot in the tournament, and you can make it like a Cinderella story. Like, can they actually beat the main roster people? But whatever, regardless, my question is, did you not have anyone else that could take her spot? You really couldn't have taken.
Care is still in the hospital.
Probably, yes. I think she's still hurt, which is basically the whole reason why she's in here, is because Stephanie Vaquer is still injured. But I mean, if you look at the roster, I mean, is Bayley even in this? Oh, she is. Okay, Bayley's already in here.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
You have Maxine Dupree, who we haven't seen in like forever. Maxine Dupree. You could have put Maxine Dupree in here. I know she's been on a milk carton. You have Natalia, who we also haven't seen in forever.
Yeah. Well, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. You have those two who we haven't seen forever. So you could have either of those be slotted in, and they're going to job out anyway to Becky Lynch, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my rant. I don't know why Liv Morgan is in here. I doubt she'll win. So
I don't think so.
No.
Well, I guess you could make the case that I think she won like the Women's Crown Jewel Championship, whatever the hell that means, and Saudi, and the Saudis like her for it, I guess. So that's why we gotta bring her back, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I do agree with you that some of this tournament just kind of feels random, but hey, it's for a championship opportunity at SummerSlam, and there could be a chance that they take a risk, but knowing this company recently, I don't think they will. So there we go, I guess. And to continue in that tradition of just seeing where it goes and trying to know where it goes, we are going to book the next episode of Monday Night Raw as we head into, I guess that's the next event, which is Night of Champions in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And we do it according to these rules. And if you have been kind of out of the loop for a while, it's brand new. We got backstage segments now counting towards our bookings and predictions up to 3. And we also have debuts and other things accounted for in this new system. And after we tell you what we think will happen on the next episode of Monday Night Raw, we will watch the actual next episode of Monday Night Raw. And I think they're still in Italy at that point. So 2 p.m. Eastern Time, that is when we will tune in to watch this show. We'll watch it as it drops, and then we will score our predictions and bookings of Monday Night Raw based on this scoring system. And as you can see, if you are out of the loop recently, we have the backstage segments scored, and we also have the sort of 1-point system now guiding everything, no more half points, and exact matches, on that system, I guess, is the way to say that. So, let's get to the scores. I have 7 points, and that is due to the Brock and Roman Reigns promos. I got the sort of participations of many people correctly on those segments, so I got those people and points. Everything else, nothing. I got nothing. So there you go. What about you, Mike?
Um, I had, I think, only 2 points in my last booking, literally from the Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu confrontation. I got pretty close in a couple other places, but yeah, didn't get any exact matches. So
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if we can get some more points this week. I know we got a lot, but I don't know. Maybe it'll go back down. Who knows? So let's head to the announced matches. What is announced for next episode, which I think is just the King and Queen of the Ring matches, which are as follows: Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez. And I think we also have one Penta versus Oba Femi is the match for the King of the Ring there. And so, without further ado, let's book this thing. Get to my version of the show first as Roman Reigns walks to the ring. He talks about the win at Clash in Italy. He says that Jacob has to acknowledge Roman now. And he brings out Jacob. He kind of comes to the ring with the Usos in tow. So we have Jacob come out by himself. He says Roman beat him twice, so I guess it makes sense now to acknowledge him. So he kind of does it in a sort of non-committal tone. And then we have LA Knight come out. He rebels against Roman and the boys. And he says that he will knock out Jey Uso from the tournament to show that he means it in achieving this objective. And he will win the King of the Ring tournament so he can beat Roman and he can force Jacob Fatu out of his what is the right term to call this agreement with Roman. Anyway, Roman says I bet, and I guess that's where we leave the segment. I don't really have much doing in this segment, so I think this will lead to, as I said earlier, Jacob turning back on Roman at some point. It could be a War Games match at this year's Survivor Series, or maybe next year. But you know where this is going once you have Jacob Fatu join the Bloodline 2.0 or the Bloodline 2000 or whatever you want to call it. They're going to have this storyline where Jacob has to obey Roman. And then at some point, Jacob turns his back on the Bloodline. We'll have this sort of thing where he either sides with the Usos or freaking LA Knight and some other face. And he ends up with the Usos. He ends up joining the Bloodline. And then, just like Sami Zayn at Royal Rumble a couple years ago, he's going to turn his back on the Bloodline. And we have this match once again. You know where this is going. We've seen it time and time again. So there's not gonna be any changes, anything risky happening here. It is by the books, the same shenanigans that happens. So there you go. Anyway, moving on to Dragon Lee taking on Rusev. This happens because of what happened last week on that match between Rey Mysterio and Rusev. I think that's, yeah, maybe Rusev. Anyway, I will have Rusev win by pinfall, and hopefully he challenges Penta after Rey Mysterio takes on Penta for the belt. So, we'll move on to the Queen of the Ring qualifying match as Sol Ruka takes on Lyra Valkyria. I will have Lyra win by pinfall after a distraction from one Becky Lynch. She is angry that she lost against Sol at Clash in Italy, and now it's time for vengeance. I think... Oh, sorry. Becky continues her attack on Sol after the match, which will lead to the good old-fashioned street fight. Oh, sorry. Minnesota street fight at SummerSlam, where Jesse Ventura probably goes on commentary and talks about how Becky is right. or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think this is going to lead to a street fight at SummerSlam. It's not over. I think Becky is going to take on Sol Ruka one more time, and I will have Sol Ruka win that one to solidify her title reign, and Becky can move on. So there you go. Backstage, we got the good old fashioned Judgment Day backstage segment where they are at their crib. They all prep Roxanne Perez for her match against Io Sky, which is up next. But when she walks away to the ring, Finn Balor stops her and reminds her of what the Judgment Day have done to her so far recently. Roxanne says nothing. She keeps what Finn Balor says to her. And she continues to walk to the ring for her match, which, as I said earlier, is up next as Io Sky takes on Roxanne Perez. I will have Io Sky win by pinfall after a failed distraction by the Judgment Day. After the match, Roxanne Perez gets angry. She walks away while the other people of the group chase after her. This plants the seeds for Roxanne, turning her back on the group later in the year, possibly at Survivor Series. I mean, I could already see 2 War Games matches here forming. And I could also possibly see the breakdown of the Judgment Day happening at Survivor Series. So, might as well introduce some brand new seeds there for some people to walk out on the group and join Finn Balor, I guess. I don't know, that's what Finn Balor is doing right now. Just separating people from the Judgment Day. And maybe forming a brand new faction. We'll call it... Vengeance or something. I don't know. Moving on to a Brock Lesnar promo. So Paul Heyman comes out. He talks about the win Brock Lesnar had against Obafemi at Clash in Italy. He says that Brock now has 1 win and has humiliated Obafemi. Surely there won't be a rematch to determine who wins this war overall, right? We'll have Obafemi come out. He says Brock may have won their match in Italy, but Oba is still standing, and he wants a rematch against Brock at his hometown in SummerSlam so he can humiliate Brock just like he did at WrestleMania. Brock and Paul laugh as they leave the ring, but Oba makes Brock turn around and eat a Fall from Grace powerbomb. Brock and Paul leave as Oba prepares for his match against Penta, and I think Oba will win that rematch and retire Brock for good. For real, this time. And Brock can do whatever the hell he wants there. Probably do the same thing at WrestleMania, except, do more, I guess. So, there you go. Another King of the Ring qualifying match as Penta takes on Obafemi. And I will have Obafemi win by pinfall so we can build him up for the supposed rematch. Penta, I think, is going to defend his title against Rey Mysterio next week, because Rey Mysterio has to, be the GM of AAA now. So I guess this will be Rey's last match in the WWE for now. So after this, it's goodbye Rey, and Rusev can be slotted in, as I said earlier, and take on Penta there. Moving on to a backstage segment with Paul Heyman. Paul talks to Adam Pearce about what happened in Italy with Brock Lesnar. And Adam says that he heard what Oba has to say to him, and he will draw up 1 more contract for SummerSlam. He warns Paul, though, that if Brock loses at SummerSlam, there will be no more returns, and Brock will stay retired forever. Paul gets fumed. He storms off to talk to the Vision to prepare them for the King of the Ring tournament. So I think regarding the King of the Ring tournament, Braun kind of has an easy path. If you can see from the bracket, I think he has a pretty decent shot at going to the far end of this tournament. So I don't think he will win though, but I think he is going to go far for the Vision. So yeah. Main event time. And that is a King of the Ring qualifying match as Jey Uso takes on LA Knight. And I'm sorry, LA Knight, but you will have to job to Jey Uso tonight as Jey Uso wins by pinfall because of the distraction by the other members of the Bloodline 2000 2.0, now with Jacob. After the show, Jacob tries to talk to LA Knight, but Jacob gets stopped by Jimmy Uso, and they all leave the ring as the show goes off the air. So again, I think this will lead to Survivor Series, where Jacob turns on the Bloodline once again, and we got a match next year where Jacob wins again, because we've all seen this before, blah, 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 Sami Zayn, blah, 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 the Usos. So, there you go. Really, I think this is predictable as hell, so, whatever. Any questions?
Yeah, so I I think that this where do you ultimately see this bloodline feud going? Because I personally don't think that Roman wins again at SummerSlam. I mean, I think whoever wins the tournament takes it from him. And it seems kind of pointless to do this like whole, will the bloodline reform storyline again if Roman is just going to leave again at SummerSlam? Like, why are we doing this? It seems like they're kind of, I don't know, sticking Jey Uso in a holding pattern until they can find something to do with him, I guess. I don't know. But where do you think this ends up?
They tried the tag team angle, and it didn't work. So
they can take the titles back at any point. We have no tag teams left, by the way, because you got rid of 2 of them, and then actually you got rid of 3 of them. You got rid of Motor City Machine Guns. You got rid of the MFT basically, and then you got rid of Wyatt 6. And then on Raw, the only 2 tag teams that really matter are the Vision, who are freaking hurt to hell. So much so that one of the other people that isn't the tag team champion had to take the belt from his injured teammate to be a tag team champion. I mean, really, you should just do a unification match at this point. I don't know why we have separate tag team championships if the tag team division is this bad on Raw. But where do you see this Neo Bloodline 2000 angle ending up?
So ultimately, either Jacob Fatu gets out of the Bloodline and the shackles of Roman Reigns, or he gets inserted into the group. We kind of have a leadership dispute, a trust dispute, where he either sides with the Usos or LA Knight and some other guy who also doesn't like the Bloodline. He ends up choosing the Usos, so he's gonna be kind of like a double agent, I guess, where he gets inserted into the group and he kind of learns about Roman Reigns and what he does and all that, and he will use them at some later point where he sort of goes rogue, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna influence the Usos, I'm gonna influence JB and Jimmy, so that I can take them with me and I can easily persuade them to just get out of Roman's grasp, and we'll form a new faction, and that will be the Bloodline 2000 2.0, whatever the hell you want to call it. My Tongans, my friendly Tongans 2.0, who are better than the other friendly Tongans. So yeah, I think that is where it's going to go. Either Jacob leaves the group, or, which is probably the more enticing option for them, for the company, which is to have him just embed himself into the Bloodline, quote unquote, with Roman and the Usos. He eventually learns a lot of stuff about being in that group. He kind of helps them out, while also using it as an opportunity to persuade Jimmy and Jey to get out of Roman's grasp. And eventually that succeeds, and they all leave Roman, and they can start their own group and probably go up against the MFT for, total domination of the Tongan universe, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know. But that is those are 2 options, but I think they will take the latter. So
okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely think that there's a turn on Roman at SummerSlam if that actually does happen. I kind of on board with your idea here.
Well, knowing this company, I don't know if they will, but I mean, it's there if they want to take it. I
Yes.
just don't know if they will.
So who do you think actually wins this King of the Ring tournament?
Oh, good question. Can you remind me who's in this tournament again? From both Raw and SmackDown?
From I guess we'll yeah, let me pull it up here. So it is Penta, Obafemi, Solo Sikoa, Carmelo Hayes, Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, uh, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Tala Tonga for some reason, Ricky Saints, Jey Uso, the Golden Jobber himself, Royce Keys,
Yeah.
and Finn Balor.
Oh, man. Okay, so the winner of this tournament obviously gets to challenge whoever at SummerSlam for
Yes.
the title.
Yes.
So, I'm thinking it's probably. Well, you said Solo Sikoa is not in this tournament, right?
Solo Sikoa is in this tournament, yes.
Oh, they're probably solo.
Really?
I mean, yeah, it's either going to be a Tongan or, you know, because Cody has the SmackDown title, and I'm pretty sure we are heading towards a rematch with Gunther at SummerSlam. So I don't think, or Clash of Champions. I don't know, but there's going to be a rematch between Cody and Gunther. All right, after that feud's over, Cody is probably going to go after some other mid carder, and Gunther will defend it against. Well, none of these other people. I don't think we're having a Royce Keys versus Gunther match anytime soon. So I feel like this tournament is more for the Raw title than the SmackDown title. And in the case of that, you might as well, since you have Jacob Fatu and that feud, you might as well, go up from there, right? They kind of hinted at it at Clash in Italy with the MFT. So I think we are heading towards a Solo Sokoa here. Sorry to say, but
Wow.
I think that's where we're going. I don't know. What
Wild.
do you?
Wild
Uh,
pick.
well, I mean, we'll go to who you think is going to win,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So I think it's probably Braun Breaker. So
Oh,
your average fan might say it's Obafemi, but I don't think Obafemi wins. I think that
too
Obafemi
early.
probably loses. It is a little bit too early, and I think he still has. I think he's pretty much guaranteed to fight Brock again at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I'd put money on that right now. Is he's going to fight Brock at SummerSlam? It's in Brock's hometown, like you were telling me earlier. That's where he'd be able to retire at. It's in the big stadium, so I think that's
yeah,
perfect for them too. So he makes it far, but I think he loses and he goes on to fight Brock. Um,
yeah.
I don't think Dominic wins it. I think he's
No,
not yet. Um, Jey Uso probably not. LA Knight, we know he's not winning. Javon Evans is a little bit too early, and then Seth Rollins is probably the only other contender. But I think we've seen enough of Seth Rollins being the title holder to the point where we don't need him to be a title holder anymore. I remember actually reading a tweet from like a couple months ago that the plan was Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And I
oh,
think that's where we're heading. As far as this whole Tongan angle, uh, I don't know what happens. I think you're right. I think that in the sense that I think they turn on Roman at SummerSlam, and then maybe when Roman comes back, it's sort of like a revenge tour where he goes on and taking on all the Tongans to like collect them back into his gauntlet as like Infinity Stones.
that is certainly one way to describe it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll definitely see, but I'm certainly more on the Tongan deal than Braun Breaker. I think, Braun Breaker right now. I don't know. There seems kind of a hesitation from the company that's like, he's kind of injury prone, and also he's kind of embroiled in the whole Seth Rollins kind of deal. So I don't think it's time for him yet. I think his time will come, but not right now. So that's what my thinking is. Like Jacob Fatu, what's up from that, and we kind of teased it that solo, so might as well. So anyway, any other questions before we move on to your card?
Nope, I'm good. Ready for my card.
Okay, let's move on to your card then, starting off with...
We have a Obafemi promo. I have a lot of promos in this match because I kind of booked this before Clash in Italy and had to change that yet. So Obafemi comes out and he says that he lost to Brock last night in Clash in Italy. But that doesn't mean that he's retiring, unlike Brock Lesnar. So Oba is going to win the King of the Ring, and he's not going to challenge title holder. He is going to spend his contract to fight Brock Lesnar yet again at SummerSlam. And this leads into the opening match, which is going to be Obafemi versus Penta.
Okay. I will reserve my questions for Oba in that match then. We'll move on to...
Obafemi versus Penta. So, I think Oba wins, but I think there's interference on Penta from Ethan Page. I don't think having Oba squash Penta, who is your IC champion, is a good idea. Oba already looks pretty strong anyway. I don't think him not immediately squashing Penta is going to hurt him in any fashion. So I think keeping Penta looking strong by having interference from Ethan Page kind of makes this a good outcome for everybody in.
Yeah. Okay, so you'd rather use this match to build up kind of the Ethan Page situation with, Rusev and Dragon Lee and the like. Okay.
Yes.
Are you saying that Oba wins this one?
Yes, Oba wins this one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm guessing you share the same sentiment that Oba Femi is retiring Brock at SummerSlam, and we do the whole thing. So my question is, after Brock, what is next for Oba Femi, you think?
He probably wins either Survivor Series or the Rumble and goes after whoever has the title at that point.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. We'll move on from that to...
an LA Knight promo. So he says he's tired of dealing with the Vision, and he is entering the King
We
of
are
the...
too, bro.
What?
Oh, I was just said we are too, bro.
Oh, yes, yeah. He's entering the King of the Ring tournament to get a shot at Roman against... at SummerSlam. And Jey Uso then comes out to confront LA Knight. Those two have a match, not this coming Raw that we're booking right now, but next week on Raw. And they kind of have a standoff. LA Knight accuses him of being Roman's lackey again. Jey Uso, says some stuff about yeeting and being a part of the family, I guess. So, yeah, I think this is setting up for them to have a pretty good match next week. I think probably LA Knight wins only because they had him announce the tournament. He was sort of the guy who said, yeah, we're bringing it back this year. So to have that guy lose in the first round would be kind of dumb if he's going to be one of the highlight guys in the tournament. Why have Jey Uso lose in the first round? Well, I think that this is sort of LA Knight's, Bloodline Revenge Tour number 3, so I think he's going to be able to take out Jey Uso and pretty easily make his way to the next round. And Jey Uso kind of has to go and think about things for a little bit because he's, maybe LA Knight is right. Maybe he is just a lackey for Roman now. So There you go. I think LA Knight loses probably in the semifinals to whoever's on his side, or maybe even in the finals. So, who knows?
Wow. What a bold prediction for LA Knight to go on very, very far, for sure. But
If
as much as I would love to support that, I just don't believe that he will.
As much as I would
honestly.
love
I
LA
think,
Knight to win, what were you saying?
yeah, no, I just think that there are more suitable candidates at this point than LA Knight. I mean, the playing field is just way too competitive for him. And as you said, he is more embroiled in that whole, Bloodline 2000 2.0 business than sort of, I guess, going through this tournament and just going after these people. But I don't know. It could happen. I just feel like the playing field and who he has to contend with, it's too much, I think. So I think he is going to go as far as the second round, I think. And then that's it.
Yeah, I
But
think
anyway.
if LA Knight wins the tournament, I will buy an LA Knight T-shirt. Okay, okay. I'm that confident in
Holy.
that he won't win. So there you go.
This is the cycle of an LA Knight fan, bro. You get he goes off TV, he gets back on, and then they start pushing him, and it's like, oh, are they finally gonna do it? Are they finally gonna do it? Then he gets to a tournament, and then he gets freaking laid out, and you're like, oh my god, bro, what are they doing with this guy? And then the cycle repeats.
Yep,
He goes
goes
off
off
TV, goes
TV,
back on.
goes back on, gets some
My god.
copium. He loses. So
Truly, truly a terrible cycle, but someday his day will come. Someday. We'll see. Anyway, we'll move on from that too.
we have a Sol Ruka promo. So Sol Ruka comes out and talks about beating Becky Lynch. She says that Becky was a challenge, but she managed to take down Becky Lynch. Then she is confronted not by AJ Lee, but by a returning Natalia. Why do I have Natalia coming out? Well, everyone else is involved in Queen of the Ring, including Sol Ruka. Now, normally I would have Sol Ruka, be involved with her partner, but I think that she probably doesn't win her match in round one. Because she is facing Lyra Valkyria, and I think Lyra Valkyria goes probably to the semifinals because she made it to the finals last year, and I think she's going to be booked as sort of like a Queen of the Ring tournament, regular, where she manages to make it far but never wins. So I think she loses to Lyra, and I think that Natalia is a good feeder for Sol Ruka's first defense.
Okay. Wow. Definitely interesting. I think they're just gonna use Natalia like one time to lose, and that's it.
She has her jobber,
Hopefully,
so
that's yeah. But I could definitely back that. I think that's a good option. I just feel like Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka is the play with this company. I think that rematch is far more potent than putting her up against some, at this point, nobody like Natalia. Sorry to say, but she is kind of that. So that's why I had that. But you know what? I wouldn't mind having, Natalia be a sort of contender to Sol Ruka's championship. I think that would be a pretty good match, honestly. But I just don't know if the company will highlight that as a feud. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if she'll actually be back. Her last match was in April, where she was on GCW for whatever fucking reason. So I don't even know if she's still with the company, because do they let their people go to GCW? Who the fuck knows? But her last televised match on Raw was in March. So I don't even know.
Yeah.
if she'll be back. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Indeed. We'll see. We'll see if Natalia is there for the long haul or if the company is just, putting her there as a jobber because of being in that little company known as GCW. But anyway, we'll move on from that to.
We have another backstage segment. This one is between Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso discussing King of the Ring. I think that Jey comes off as very hesitant to enter the tournament because he'd have to fight Roman. Jimmy tells him it's all right and he can take care of LA Knight next week. Be about his business. Yeah, yeet.
Great. Whoa, that's it? That's all you had?
Yes.
I thought you had more.
No, that's it.
Okay.
This was a very last minute card given the
Yeah.
the show today, so.
Yeah. No worries. All right. Okay, I guess we'll move on. I got nothing. We'll move on to
The second King of the Ring, I guess Queen of the Ring qualifier, Roxanne Perez and Io Sky. I think Io Sky wins despite interference from Raquel. I don't think Liv Morgan interferes here because Liv Morgan is an intelligent heel, so I don't think she wants her stablemates to be winning this tournament. So anyway, yes, I think that Io Sky wins, and she moves on. So Io Sky could be a sleeper pick for this tournament.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see EO. Yeah. I was trying to think who else is in that tournament, but yeah, I think EO may have the biggest shot of everyone in that tournament.
It's Liv Morgan for whatever
Lash Legend
reason.
is not winning. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Lash Legend isn't winning. I could see her getting far, but it's Liv Morgan for whatever reason. Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, Silveruca, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, Roxanne Perez, Io Sky, Julia, Lash Legend, Bailey, Raquel Rodriguez, and JC Jane and Kiana James in the only jobber-on-jobber match in this entire tournament.
I swear, if Jade wins this tournament, this would all be for nothing.
I could see it either being Io Sky, yeah, or even Raquel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Probably like one Judgment Day member for sure. Yeah. Do you think they'll take it though from either Liv or Rhea at SummerSlam?
Wait, what was that? Sorry, my headset cut out in the middle of that.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if whoever you pick who wins the tournament, do you think they'll get the title from either Rhea or Liv at SummerSlam?
That's a good question. So, because Jade is in this tournament, it's pretty much that her feud with Rhea is over. So, I don't know who's next for Rhea. I would say probably Liv Morgan, whoever wins this tournament.
Oh.
And who's next for Rhea? I think it could be like Charlotte Flair, maybe, or one of the two of those that tag team on SmackDown. I know Blake Monroe is debuting soon, so maybe I don't know, maybe her.
Oh yeah.
Jordan Grace. If she whenever she comes back, one of the Nia Jax could also go for the title as well. So it could even be Lash Legends in like a transitionary feud to get to SummerSlam, but yeah, it could be. You have a couple of contenders here, a couple of candidates here. Unlike the women's on Raw, which is basically no one because they're all injured except for Io Sky. So they're either all injured or in her faction. So
Damn.
Well, I guess you have Bailey too.
You know what?
So.
You know what? I'm so glad that neither Michin nor BFAB are in that tournament. I'm just saying.
You could have
We've
put
had
Michin
enough
or
of the
BFAB in Liv Morgan's spot, and no one would have have given it a second look. But the fact that you've put Liv Morgan, just imagine, Brian. Just imagine.
Yeah.
Right after winning the title, after beating Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes was booked into the fucking King of the Ring tournament despite already being champion.
Well,
that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't see that. That's so stupid. That's so, degrading for your champion to be booked in a fucking tournament to determine their challenger.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Well, I don't know. this company, man. Anyway, we'll move on from that to
a backstage segment division with Paul Heyman. They discuss the tag team titles, and they also talk about Braun Breaker winning or entering King of the Ring next week against Dominic Mysterio. And there you go. That's it.
Okay. You think Dom is going to be eliminated in the first round so he can go to AAA and just stay there for a while, right?
Yeah, I think Braun beats him. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. We'll move on from that then to
main event, the Jacob Fatu acknowledgement ceremony. So, Roman drags Jacob Fatu's lifeless body into the ring with the help of the Usos, and Roman wants Jacob to acknowledge him. Jacob does, and then takes out Roman, managed to take out both the Usos, with the help of Solo Sikoa and Tala Tonga. Both of them jump out because I guess we're going to run back the MFT. It's the MFT 2000 versus the Bloodline 2000.
yeah.
So Jacob Fatu manages to put Roman through a table. I'm trying to book Roman getting kayfabe hurt because he has been written off of several dates in June, and we need an explanation as to why it didn't happen in Clash in Italy. It was kind of an underwhelming match, and I think that it happens here because I don't know when else it would happen, because this is Roman's last show, basically, until the build-up to SummerSlam. So...
Okay. Are you booking another Bloodline Civil War? Is this what's happening?
I guess. I don't know what else we're doing with these guys, man. It just seems like whenever there are multiple Tongans on one show, they have to fight each other. It's kind of like a rule.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's what happens when you have The Rock in your,
yes,
board of directors.
Yes.
The WWE has to revolve around the Tongans. This is World Tongan Entertainment. But okay, if that's the case, I mean, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with the MFT? Do you think it'll be solely integrated into the whole bloodline to make it just one whole Tongan collective or whatever the hell you want to call it, or do you think this is just, I don't know, another phase where after it's over, the MFT kind of sort of go on do other things in SmackDown?
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, I think they sort of do other things on either SmackDown or Raw. Probably Raw. Once Roman loses his title. Yeah.
Could you see this going to Survivor Series?
Like
a War Games match or something?
Good Lord. I don't know if we would stretch it out this long, given how we'd had the thing MFT and Wyatt 6 feud. I would say yeah, but also I really don't want to see that happen. because it would just be another slog of a storyline with the fucking Tongans again. Um, I really think this is sort of just a stupid build up to SummerSlam to give intrigue to Roman, because Roman right now doesn't really have a whole lot of intrigue. There's not a whole lot of like tension, whereas there was with Cody, where it's like, is Cody gonna turn heel? Is this finally where he like snaps? Is it Randy Orton and Pat McAfee, causing him to lose his shit? Like Roman is just kind of, well, yeah, Roman's back. He's doing the same thing again. Oh, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso are kind of friends with him, I guess. Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really helping him out. They're just kind of standing around. Are they heel? Are they face? Like, what's happening? And people say that they're slow building, but it's almost like they're slow cooking and forget that you need to eventually turn the heat up and take it off the slow cooker, and they're just leaving it on, and eventually it just dies out because they forget about these long term story points that are in there. And I don't think that this goes longer than SummerSlam. I think Roman loses it. I think Jey and Jimmy turn on Roman, because of his manipulation. Maybe Jacob Fatu's involved. And then Jey and Jimmy go on to be their own tag team. Jacob Fatu goes on his own way, and then Roman is written off TV for probably a couple of months.
Yeah, I think the only form of sort of liberation from this whole thing would be if Roman Reigns were to take more time off. Because honestly, I can't take a couple months of a part-time champion. That's what Roman Reigns is now. He's a part-time champion. And it just sucks. And I get it, this is a contrast to when Seth Rollins had it or CM Punk had it, right? Where they had matches every week. But I think I would rather have that than more of the same old, as you said, Tongan business, or even like the Vision storyline. Like that storyline, it has been the same for months with Seth Rollins trying to take on the Vision. And it's just like, man, when are they going to progress into, a higher stakes level? And they just don't. And you just keep on waiting for it to happen, and it just never happens. And so it fizzles out. People have no interest, so they gotta wrap it up quickly, or we just like drop it all of a sudden, and it's just like, why? So yeah, I do agree with you. I think some of these storylines could use a little bit of, pacing up, I guess, or kind of introducing bigger stakes to make them feel more interesting or captivating. But I don't think they will. I think they're gonna sit on their laurels and keep playing it safe. Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. That's all we got for our predictions and bookings for the next episode of Monday Night Raw. And as I said earlier, we will watch the next episode of Monday Night Raw as it drops. We will score our predictions and bookings and then come back here and then tell you what we got. But until then, thank you for ordering a slice of Probably Next Week on Raw from Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, everyone.